Unhinged Cher came out of nowhere to tell Sarah what to do, should have kept her trap shut. Now, this is rich. What has to be one of the most overrated performers of the 20th century has now come out of her cave to critique Sarah Huckabee Sanders' fashion sense. Last week the singer took to Twitter to disrespect our press secretary's style and actually went as far as to shame her for her everyday wear. Cher's disrespectful tweet read, "Would someone please tell Sarah Huckabee Sanders to stop dressing like a sister wife?" Heavy check mark Cher. Would someone please tell Sarah Huckabee Sanders to stop dressing like a sister wife? Twitter adds info and privacy. The washed-up singer went even further by illustrating her tweet with an image of two women in stereotypical clothing. In the photo, the women also sport braids, plain lace-up shoes and high-neck dresses with long sleeves and puffy shoulders and not an ounce of makeup. Now they have always said he who lives in glass houses should not cast the first stone. Let's take a look at Cher's past. Maybe now in her ripe old age, she has outgrown her fascination with wearing clothes that only a stripper would wear when she's on the clock. Many Twitter users weren't happy with her comment. Jimcuther. Jealous hater Cher attacks Sarah Huckabee's appearance in offensive tweet. Lightning Girl. Pressick has more class, real beauty and taste than Cher has in her little pinky. It was kinda mean, but it was so funny. I wouldn't have said it. But she's so rude, so mean, so dismissive, lies like Pinocchio on steroids. Nina Harris 3. Plus, you were such a huge voice during the rally, and by ridiculing Sarah's taste in clothes totally discredits the MSGs you were trying to convey. Women are much more than how they look. And here you're judging her, come on Cher. 310. Heavy check mark Cher. Could you any weaker? I've had PPL say nasty things about me my clothes for 53 years, some days lead, some days feathers. Are you such princess that a stupid joke gets your knickers in a twist? You dislike, hate me, I don't care, perhaps Walmart sells backbones. VRMPLs too. At least Huckabee dresses with taste and covered up. She has brains so she doesn't need half-naked clothes to make us notice her, we actually listen to her. When did anyone really listen to you without music? This is what Hollyweird has been reduced to now. So-called celebrities who are way past their prime take to the cesspool that is Twitter to put down anything that has to do with our president. Even a woman who has done nothing but serve and raise her family. Personally, I ask why no one ever did this to Michelle Obama, who had very poor fashion sense. Instead, they tried to convince us she was some kind of supermodel, and if you disagreed it has to be because you are some kind of racist. Sanders is a public figure, so people like Cher and other has-beens can spend all the time they want on Twitter attacking her, but when will they start being honest and call out both sides, not just the one they seem to have an illogical hate for? Here is more on Sarah Sanders via the famous people. Sarah Elizabeth Huckabee Sanders is an American political aide. She is presently the Deputy Press Secretary in U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. She also serves as the Deputy Assistant to the President. Making a start in the field of politics as a field coordinator for her father Mike Huckabee's 2002 gubernatorial re-election campaign in Arkansas, she has over the years evolved into a prominent political aide serving eminent political personalities at different point of time. She served as an Ohio field director during presidential campaign of George W. Bush and then went on to play the role of national political director during her father's 2008 presidential campaign. The presidential run of Tim Pawlenty in 2012 also saw her serving as the former's senior advisor. She was also the campaign manager of John Boozman in his race to the U.S. Senate from Arkansas. She managed her father's presidential campaign in 2016 and thereafter was signed as the senior advisor of the presidential campaign of Donald Trump, tackling the campaign's liaison for coalitions. She is a founding partner of the general consultation service provider Second Street Strategies in Little Rock, Arkansas. Childhood. Early life. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was born on August 13, 1982, to Mike Huckabee and Janet Huckabee as their only daughter among three children. Her two brothers are John and David. Her father is an American politician, commentator, musician, author and Christian minister, who remained the 44th governor of Arkansas from 1996 to 2007. Her father also remained a candidate twice in the U.S. Republican presidential primaries in 2008 and 2016 respectively. Her mother, Janet Huckabee, is also an American politician who ran as the nominee for the U.S. Republican Party for Arkansas Secretary of State in 2002. Huckabee Sanders studied at the Little Rock Central High School located in Little Rock, Arkansas. She then studied at the Ouachita Baptist University located in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Recommended lists American Women Leaders Women Political Leaders American Political Leaders Leo Women. Career. Sarah Huckabee Sanders' journey as a political aide began when she joined her father Mike Huckabee's re-election campaign as field coordinator during the Arkansas gubernatorial election in 2002. The election saw her father being re-elected for a second four-year term as governor of Arkansas. She served as a regional go-between for congressional matters at the Department of Education. In 2004, during the re-election campaign of the U.S. President George W. Bush, Huckabee Sanders served as field coordinator for the campaign in Ohio. During her father's presidential campaign in 2008, she was its national political director. According to American daily middle-market newspaper U.S. Today, she gave consultation to her father on everything from debate strategy to tie selection. According to a Time magazine profile, she spent her time in the 2008 campaign working up to 90 hours a week, running her father's schedule and event briefings not only in Iowa but in South Carolina and New Hampshire. In addition, she oversees outreach and acts as her dad's surrogate in Iowa. Mike Huckabee pulled out from the race to the White House on March 4, 2008 after losing the Texas Republican primary. Huckabee Sanders then took over as the director of the Political Action Committee HUC-PAC, objective of which is to promote conservative principles and aid in electing conservative hopefuls at each government level. Her name found place in Time magazine's 40 Under 40 in 2010. When John Boozman, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, resolved to relinquish his House seat to run for the U.S. Senate election in Arkansas in 2010, Huckabee Sanders became his campaign manager. Calling incumbent two-term Democrat Blanche Lincoln as a solid vote for President Obama and describing Boozman as someone who stands up to the Obama administration's reckless agenda, she endeavored in creating a solid base for the latter. During the first Republican primary debate between U.S. Senate candidates, Boozman was in the House of Representatives. Huckabee Sanders stood in for him, mentioning that he was in D.C. fighting against the Senate health care bill. In May 2010, Boozman won the Republican primary and then went on to defeat Lincoln by a 21-point margin. After Reconstruction, Boozman became the first Republican to be elected to the seat. In 2011, along with her role as a political aide, she became a full-time consultant at Samutales Strategies, and later in January 2014 she became the group's vice president. She left the group in June 2015. She was inducted as senior advisor of Republican politician Tim Pawlenty's 2012 run for president. After joining the campaign for Pawlenty, who served as the 39th governor of Minnesota till January 3, 2011, she concentrated on his Iowa campaign. She was also associated in the campaign of Republican politician Tom Cotton's 2014 run for the U.S. Senate election in Arkansas. On January 3, 2015, Cotton assumed office as U.S. Senator from Arkansas, serving along with Boozman. In February 2016, she co-founded the consulting firm Second Street Strategies in Little Rock, Arkansas. She served as campaign manager for her father's 2016 presidential campaign, but when her father ended his run to the White House on February 1, 2016, Huckabee Sanders joined the Donald Trump campaign. She was signed as a senior advisor in the Trump campaign, and later in September 2016 her responsibilities were increased when she also had to look after the campaign's liaison for coalitions. Meanwhile, in May 2016, she was signed as senior advisor of John Brunner, a 2016 Republican candidate for governor of Missouri. She became part of the Donald Trump presidential administration at the verge of the latter's transition. On January 19, 2017, she was named as the Deputy White House Press Secretary in the new Trump administration, as also Deputy Assistant to the President. On January 20, 2017, she assumed office as White House Deputy Press Secretary, succeeding Eric Schultz. She gave her first White House press brief on May 5, 2017, filling in for the present White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, who went on a Naval Reserve duty at the Pentagon. Personal life legacy. On May 25, 2010 she married Brian Chatfield Sanders, a fellow media consultant, in Cruz Bay, U.S. Virgin Islands, at the Nazareth Lutheran Church. She first met her husband during her father's 2008 presidential campaign in Iowa. Sanders also remained 2016 media consultant of Huckabee. The couple is blessed with 3 children, Scarlett, George and Huck. As you can see by her bio above, if Sanders would have been Obama's press secretary, the liberal left would be applauding her like seals and defending her like mama bears.